Good afternoon, America, and happy 4th of July.
Welcome back to the Tea Time Talk Show.
Today we have three great guests. Humphrey Hills, a quarter from the National Archives.
We have historian Otetta Porcia Bros from Museum of American Revolution.
And we have Professor Eliza McWilliam.
Our first guest is Liza McMillan. She will be talking about what happened before the Declaration of Independence.
Thank you for having me. The idea of the independence was in 1776 was mostly unheard of before the Common Sense pamphlet.
What made the colonists agree with the author of the Common Sense pamphlet?
500,000 pamphlets were sold to those colonists who agreed with the author, Thomas Paine, that we should govern ourselves without British rule. Many people were frightened by that, by independence because of the Loyalists and how they used it to frighten people to give up.
How did the Virginians' resolution help the fight for independence?
Virginians' revolution told the delegates that they had to support independence. So the delegates were now all against Britain. In the Virginia's revolution, it states these united colonies are and of the right ought to be free and independent states.
Thank you, Liza McWilliam. Our next guest is Humphrey Hills. He is a curator from the National Archives.
He will be reading the whole Declaration of Independence. Humphrey Hills will be FaceTiming us from the National Archives.
When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. He has refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained, and when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend to them. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty, to throw off such government and to provide new guards for the future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid witness. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people, unless those people would relinquish the rights of the representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of the public records, for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures.
How did they write and how do you break it down?
The first part is a preamble, which states the reason for writing the Declaration.
What is a preamble?
A preamble is an introduction. The next part is the protection of natural right.
What is the protection of national rights?
It explains that if the government fails to protect people's rights, they can create a new government. The next part is the grievances against the king. It talks about how the king and how he violated the colonists' rights and ignored their petitions. The last part is where they finally declare independence from Great Britain.
How many people signed it, and what type of people were they?
56 total people signed it. A majority of them were born in America.
Thanks for coming and goodbye, Humphrey.
Thank you for inviting me.
Next, we have a historian from the Museum of American Revolution, Otetta Josepha Bros.
Hello, today we'll be talking about the impact of the Declaration. The Declaration of Independence became one of the world's most enduring documents. The famous quote, "All men are created equal," still inspires and motivates Americans to this day. On this very day, 242 years ago, Congress approved the Declaration of Independence. To this day, most Americans celebrate the 4th of July. The Declaration of Independence also changed the Revolution entirely, as patriots were not fighting for better treatment, but now to create a new nation and become separate from Great Britain. The actual signing of the Declaration took place on August 2nd before he signed Benjamin Franklin. We all hang together, or most assuredly we shall all hang separately. This quote means that if captured by the British, the men who signed would be hanged.
Thank you, Attendant Bros for Bros.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for watching today's episode of the Tea Time Talk Show.
And one last thank you to all our guests.
Happy 4th of July!